Hello, everybody. Welcome back in. We are moving into the North American side of the qualifiers now, of course. Very much looking forward to kind of breaking into these games. More so, maybe the Group B side of things, because it will be the Costa Rica-Guatemala, again, all-stakes game. We are in the Group A side, and Colombia-Honduras giving us a game here. Unfortunately, both of these teams not going to be able to qualify through. So both of them looking to pick up their first win, I think, is maybe where this comes down to.
Sure.
We're going to have the USA versus Panama. Also a game, ultimately, that doesn't mean an awful lot. They're both qualified through. Panama forfeited. You know, they fancied their evening. They fancied the prep game, I would imagine, is potentially what they are looking at here. It does seem as well, what with things being locked in, that Panama will be facing off against Canada. That is confirmed for the playoffs tomorrow. And here we are looking at that, third game of the day, game after this one, to see who's going to be playing off against the US. But we're, I think, still in the camp of seeing what these two teams can do. We've managed to catch them on the stream. Honduras, not an awful lot out from them yet to really deliver an impressive map, let's say. Colombia, meanwhile, bringing it pretty close on Dust 2 against USA, who are out-and-out favorites, proving that yesterday with a super one-sided affair against Honduras. So we'll see here. We'll see. Colombia, there's maybe a bit more to them. Honduras, so they might have something up their sleeve.
Yeah, I honestly thought, I spoke to a couple of players from the United States, and just from what we saw, I actually would have probably put Colombia as maybe even the third best side we've seen so far.
True.
But they didn't make it through. They forfeited yesterday against Panama, which ultimately cost them a spot. I think, I honestly, from what we would have seen, I probably would have expected them to have taken that game against Panama and then moved on in towards the next stage. But, ultimately it is what it is. You forfeit a game. It's unfortunate. We don't know what the reasons were behind that. But yeah, it has meant that they can't make it through to that next stage. But at the very least, at least you can get, solid wins and all the rest and something of the sort, because it comes down to head-to-head. When we're looking at those, even if Colombia basically were to make it like 2-1, head-to-head and the rest, I mean, it was never going to happen, is the main thing. Forfeiting is always going to hurt. Let's take a look at the teams, however, heading in towards this one. We've already caught up with Colombia, like you said, against the United States. They look pretty good, in all fairness to them. They made it closer than maybe we would have expected coming into it. The United States being seen as the favorites, arguably, in this entire qualifier. But we've got Spamsy, Snake, Point, Coat, and Slayer. And these guys all had their moments, in all fairness, against the United States in what felt like a pretty cool game to kickstart things. 13-6 was at 13-10 on Dust 2, which had its moments. And for Colombia, they can bring that sort of level that they brought on Dust 2 against Honduras here. They could actually be able to take this relatively cleanly.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we don't see the Dust 2 come out, actually, into the veto. But, of course, this is the Honduras side of things. Tin, Ranz, Faith, Demi, and Devo. We saw some good moments out from a couple of players. Ranz and Tin, for me, look to be the sort of stronger players. Ranz in particular, right? Again, against USA, when we caught them, super one-sided affair, unfortunately. They did not get off the ground at all on their first map. And indeed, Ancient was a bit difficult for them, which was their pick. Maybe expecting something a bit better from them. Didn't quite happen. So we'll see here if they can, again, bring things a bit close. It was a slightly more impressive affair on Ancient against Panama. But again, the Dust 2 failed them. So indeed, veto comes round here when you've got the Mirage on the permaban. I think that the Dust 2 is definitely going to come out, but also it speaks to the fact that if this D2's not got off the ground in either of the series that they've played it, then, maybe their map pool's super shallow. Ancient is their map through and through, it would seem, and then we've got that Anubis as the decider.
Yeah, it's definitely some question marks has to be had here coming through. For Honduras, when they played against Panama, they got 8 rounds on Ancient, only got 3 on Dust 2. When Honduras played against USA, those maps were Nuke and Ancient. Nuke gets banned out sort of for them. That Ancient, again, only got 2 rounds against the United States. So, not a huge amount. That is just how good United States are in this one. So, again, I come in towards this with my expectations being pretty high in the favor of Colombia. I think they're a side who actually have both a pretty solid Dust 2, and I think probably the good potential to play a good Ancient 2. It's just a map in which is these days super popular. has a lot to offer, right? I mean, it's a map in which I think is quite puggy. A lot of teams playing it when they're more mixy in the sense, because you can take a lot of mid control quite nicely with basically those preferential spawns now that they got moved forward about a year ago or so now. Still, we are live. We're about to get underway. It is Dust 2. It is Colombia's pick in our second series of the day. The Counter-Strike never stops here at IESF. As unfortunately, this map doesn't mean anything, right? But
it does to them.
Exactly. It's about bragging rights. No one wants to finish dead last. Yeah, exactly.
I'll represent your country. Honduras start things off pretty strong here. Out long quite quick. Ready for the mid play as well. Finding themselves a double kill. So the A bomb site is indeed the call. And, well, it will be the vulnerable sites. They have lost a player in the interim here to a bit of a connectivity issue, it would seem. So Colombia down and out. See what they can do. Slayer and Coat trying to move in together. This new elevator spots. Trying to net a kill from it. Not quite going to happen. Hello. That's a heck of a frag. Jumping up, trying to go Kukli style here, but not going to happen. Down he will go. And Honduras picking up the first round. Maybe a bit of luck in there, but they still had, two-man advantage and an A bomb site under their control. So difficult to say whether the dropout would have made a big difference. Seems like he's back in. So no real worries there. Not even going into a tech pause.
Yeah, he's straight back into it. Not too sure, what the issue was. You hate to see it, but I think you're right. Would it have actually been a difference? Probably not. I think they lost their fight so early. I don't think it would have made a huge one in the end. Going quick here, Honduras to the fight. Scout threads the needle through the smoke as gets close but no cigar. He just get tagged up as he tries to peer through window. Nate to follow him as well. Bomb goes down. Actually, the round B side of Dust 2 is statistically the hardest site to retake, or it was back on go. I don't think it's going to change here.
Coat close to the action, but yeah, they're pulling away. Take the save, right? It is that futile angle at this point. Snake is sticking around, feeling a bit cheeky. Actually just trying to lock them in from this sort of angle. So there may well be a realm in which they could find some exits. Smoke goes down. Now, in a comical sort of way, he's looking to work around it, but actually gives them an avenue to exit with. I don't think that was necessarily his intention. One does drop. There goes Coat going in a bit late. Getting a frag for the CT side, but Honduras stomaching it quite well. Looking good. Can they take any more? No, they can't. Timer saves the player in at CT there. So looking good, Honduras. They will take a clean second.
All right. 2-0. We are going to be seeing not a hell of a lot of investment coming through. Colombia did go for at least a little bit of a force there, which doesn't end up working out. So in the end, we're just going to go straight back into a round, which does feel like a little bit of a throwaway. Force bite. Find the form. 1-for-1 trade isn't terrible for Spamzy, but that is the only SMG in this round instantly put into the ground. 6 feet under.
Snake. Oh, close. Spots the shadow. Gets the heads. Drops the bomb. It's 2 guns to recover now as well. One of them being an AK. Colombia exploding into life and may well steal this one. The 2 MAC-10s. I mean, yeah, they're not in a good position right now. This is pretty dire. Got to recover the bomb back. Lesser weaponry. It's a long, old angle as well. So we'll see. They're going to need a miracle to win this one out. Maybe he comes in the form of Tin. Getting some decent info and ultimately a good position to work with. But he's now going to have to do it all. His teammate's been flanked and finished. He will reveal himself. And of course, goddamn MAC-10 is not the weapon for this job. Down he will go. Colombia with a big steal.
Yeah, round they never really should have had a look in there. Lost the force. They come in with what is basically Nico there. They go 1-for-1 with their only SMG being dropped immediately. It felt like that round was never going to get going. And then Honduras just walk into the Deagles. Good work from Colombia ultimately to take that first. It's a big scalp and it's put a lot more pressure on the shoulders for Honduras, who have to buy back in themselves, but it's not exactly the prettiest of ones. Now, actually, Devoul's gone for a deagle with the util, and that's fine, but he still has money left over. He potentially could have actually had a fairly better gun, whether that is, you know, a Mac 10. Maybe if he picked up less util, maybe even like a Galil, but opting just to keep hold of, I guess, a bit of extra cash on hand, maybe for later down the line, wielding just a pistol.
Point close to the action here, on the edge of his smoke. They're coming in through short. Spamming away on that Deeg, maybe just trying to get them to reveal themselves and, of course, draw them into the Mac 10. Push through B, results in a 1-for-1, but it gives them a good idea of where the attack might be coming. Oh, the last second bail on short is a bit weird, but Devoul makes it work. 2 come through for Honduras here, and I mean, that might just be it for the round, to be honest. I don't know that Colombia can contest.
I think probably at this point as well, especially with that smoke coming in towards doors, you might actually just say, call it here. I mean, it looks like I guess I mean, at least Spamsy's tempted.
We'll see.
They're going for it. I mean, this is
they're pretty close.
One.
They're actually
Not
getting
a lot
in
of time.
Deep. Oh, and then they just get mowed down. I don't know, bro. That I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah, I don't know why we even give that a go. Number disadvantage. The time is so far gone as well. And yeah, I mean, it's such a weird one. It's such a weird one in the end. Colombia giving that a go because it's completely sort of nulled what should be a really decent buy in here. We should be looking at kind of a real full buyout for Colombia with no MP9s, that's for sure. Instead, they've got 2 alongside the double M4s. However, they still might make it work. Coat for a double is big. And they still want to fight out here. Honduras pushing through the smoke. I don't know if we needed to do that.
Getting a bit wild, isn't it? Both teams making a few low-level mistakes, you might say. At least for this kind of qualifier and the heights that they could have gotten to if things had started off better for them. So maybe revealing their colours a little bit as indeed good players, but not the best of teams in this group. Either way, Colombia looking set to find themselves a second. Or Rands playing with fire, sticking around here. Flash is perfect. Burst, and he just cannot see anything for 5 or 6 seconds. Absolutely wonderful.
Big stuff. 3-2 now as well. And Honduras is sort of relentless want to fight out towards long days. I think that really cost them. They did not need to. They could have just, you know, when you lose that first fight, for example, we'll just call it off and say, right, we'll go again. We'll reset and maybe start looking elsewhere, whether that's mid, lower tunnels, over towards B, even testing Cat, for example. But instead, they're thinking, right, we can just get trades here. It doesn't work out for them. Point for the first. Sticking around for more. They have heard somebody in towards lower tunnels, so they double back. Gun collected is being held, and they will thankfully tuck themselves over towards deep short.
Devoul. Down below. Oh, keen find on the boost. See what they can do with that now. There's obviously going to be information in there. There's another player in that area. Nade is really quite good for Colombia, though. Keep them softened up. You can see the numbers are there, but the HP not so much. Bomb chilling out in the upper tunnels. Going to pull away now thanks to that smoke. So maybe they were thinking about a B split, but it seems their decision is halfway made. Still very, very tentative here from Honduras.
All right. Shy of 50 seconds. One out towards long doors alone here. The rest of the team starting to make a move up short. They've got good space. Flash comes over. Point for 1. Faith will trade and move out along. It was never going to work there for Tin. He gets caught. Devoul's still trying to fight, and he will get his kill.
Ah, that's the big one, though. Faith with the drop. 20 seconds left to get the bomb in now. It is Snake left to do it all. A nice, safe plant as well. Making sure that it is clean towards short. Snake's changed up to the Galil. Oh, and trying to get in. Faith, this is all on the timing. Don't look away from this angle. Should be easy, and indeed it is in the end. And unfortunately, the 1v2 doesn't come off again. Another situation where maybe we should see the team step away, but they don't do so here. 4-2 now. Honduras growing the gap, breaking the bank, and may well force out a bit of a dodgy buy here.
Yeah, I mean, MP9... Yeah, they are going to go for it. It looked like they bought and then sold, but MP9s are going to be brought to the table. There was an M4 there, but it does get sold by Point. I think he wants at least have the option of an AWP in towards that next round for the team. Colombia does feel like this one may be a little bit of a giveaway. I say that. Cope, Deagle, 1, 2, was there, but he couldn't get it. Slayer does get one of his own, but A site's open.
Bursting through here. Nobody around. Should be able to get the bomb plant down. Tin down below. Traded. They maybe need the numbers at this stage, especially before the bomb goes down. Point dealt with in towards long. And it gets a bit harder without that presence, but there's another player coming from long. I don't think he'll be expected this quickly. And he gets perfect timing. Demi caught with the quick switch. All going to be down to Faith. Another encroachment towards short. Slayer has got the angle, but not expecting the jump up. Still, the trade is there thanks to the AK retrieved. And Colombia with a bit of a steal on the half buy. Big deal for them. Good for the economy.
True. Very true. Another round which Colombia take with just nothing really in terms of their buy. I mean, that one was another round which they were kind of saying, right, we'll low buy here and maybe hope that we can get a couple of kills, but prioritizing buying it towards the next and then making it stick. Honduras are letting these ones slip away. If it wasn't for that, we're talking about Honduras being 6-0 up. The main thing is, though, Colombia aren't winning the gun round. It's only these low buy sort of half/mini forces that are actually doing any sort of real damage. Colombia have got to find some success when it comes to these gun rounds, bar that one long play where I felt like Honduras were just too relentless and they want to fight. We've got to find some consistency with the AKs, M4s in play. Pointed at AWP out, though, which is good. And the money is broken, too, to Honduras. Want to pop B. Spamsy. Does he get cleared here? His teammate backside won't. Oh, and they combine so well. That's that shutdown. Last man's got an AK, and he might even try and find a way to now save it for the next minute 20.
Yeah, maybe. He's a bit far from the action, isn't he, really? But got to be a bit careful not to go down after that time. I think the hunt is going to be on here, though, bro. I don't know that this guy will get this AK out of here. He's actually somehow managed to slip under. Spamsy getting good bits of info and just sort of swinging around, give it a bit of a look. Finds the frag, denies that AK away. Can't retrieve it, too far. But all the same, difficult sort of situation at the moment for Honduras. Money is getting away from them. So Colombia with a good chance of not only getting the lead, but also breaking the backs of the T side.
Yeah, exactly. Overall, that's good. Honduras, true investment coming back into it, but it does require a good few Galils to be brought to play here. To find towards top mid. Doesn't go well for Snake as he gets caught. Tin will get the first. Devul will add to it. He spams the answering for a double. He's got the support of Coat as well. Did they expect one more lower tunnels? They don't. Head on a swivel. They know where the last guy is. They saw him in towards lower not that long ago.
Bomb plant confirmed, for sure. Gets an early smoke down there. I suppose lack of information on this second guy. This is definitely doable, though. I like his chances here. It would be absolutely massive. Well-placed nade could make the difference, but he's just opting to move in. It's a little panicked, but it works. I don't think he was supposed to fail that jump. He even pulled away from the angle, but just the fact that he was so close, so ready is enough. Huge find for Honduras. Absolutely massive here, despite all that damage done in towards mid. Really is a tough one to stomach. They swing it back in their favor.
Yeah. What that definitely shouldn't be happening. Not at all. 4-5. Honduras keep staying alive. Every single time it feels like Colombia are going to make something work, it gets thrown back in their face. Colombia should have had way more opportunities to make a considerably bigger dent, but again, they come right back into it. Off the back of losing around there, they shouldn't. This one's looking a lot better.
For sure. Oh, Slayer. He wanted to wait for them all to cross. Okay.
It's his nade keybind there.
Yeah, whoopsie daisy. Whoopsie daisy. Happens to the best of us. But it's all good, mate. It's all good. I think he meant to pull his pistol out, right? And he went for the Molotov button instead.
Yeah, he does it.
It's okay. They win the round. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. One casualty, you'll take it. Not the worst. Tied him again. 5-all. But it's a weird game of Counter-Strike we're getting here. We're not going to lie. It's a bit of a funky one. Yeah, 5-all. We're at the moment. Definitely a hard one to call, but I think this one feels like an easy round to call if we're looking at a little bit more of a micro sense of things. Blow by for Honduras. First 3. Another way of Colombia, but labored there at the end. But they get it nonetheless.
Glock, difficult at range, but not powerful enough. It's all down to the Deagle of Tin. He's going to be known about now. Definitely seen. Finished easily. And Colombia moving up to 6. So going through a few motions here, it feels like, right? Honduras have not given us an awful lot to really consider in the past couple. An explosive clutch up. Not going to make too much of a difference. The 7-5 on the cards now. I think they will be kind of happy with 5. They definitely want 6. Maybe given the fact that this Dust 2 has looked good for Colombia, the map that we were hoping to see and hoping to have them deliver on, it might feel a bit closer than expected. But I don't know. It's been a weird one to read. Just a few rounds where it's like, if you find the opening picks, you're going to win it. You know, there's not much being revealed here about the deeper strategy.
All right. Up towards short already. I mean, in a very quick fashion here for Honduras. And no one playing the site itself. But they got a long play. They got 2 in towards short. And there is the potential of a flank to come through as well. Tin. Gonna catch one. Nicely done. Still that long player. They haven't really kept an eye out for just yet. But double stack moving through CT. It's a tough angle to play out from.
Nice find coming in from Slayer. The smoke goes down, though, and they are all revealed on top of each other. It looked good for a second. Unfortunately, too easy. Too easy here. We'll see. 2 versus 2 coming in. The site has been retaken. Snake, the absolute hero, and Slayer on the defuse will win this one out. Demi far away from the bomb site. That final second freeze is a little awkward, but Colombia pull it back. I thought for a second it was going to be theirs. It was going to be Honduras to take it, but unfortunately, not the case.
Yeah, it's a weird half of Counter-Strike. Very back and forth. Very difficult for both sides to gain, I guess, long-term control in that one. But in the end, Colombia taking a bit of a lead on their map pick. Heading in towards the second half, I think, is all that matters for them. Of course, as this is Colombia's map pick, Honduras decided to start T-side there. That was their choice. And whether that's a choice for the better or for the worse, we'll have to see. Colombia, all 5. Gonna go quick towards B. Molotov comes out for the CT side, and they just go through it.
Demi got the open channel here, but he's not able to find any. There you go. Eventually through the door, in fact. So, keen headshot on that USP wallbang. Not something you see very often. 5 on 4 here, but this is a pretty weak-looking Colombia. Surely got to be good for the CT side. The Glocks up close, though, are deadly, as we know. Trying to draw them in. First kill round here. Snake deals with the tunnel position. Trying to bite off a bit more. Not quite able to do so. Devul rolls round. Brings it down to just 1. They know where Slayer is at. Trying to play the bomb. Not a lot of time to work with, however. And he may well have just done enough. An attempt being made somehow. He is still alive here. And insult to injury as he cleans it up. Oh my goodness, a mess of a round from both sides, but Colombia will swing it.
All you got to do in that situation is just play time. As simple as that. And yeah, like you said, a little bit of a cherry on top, I guess, with the kill at the end. But all that matters there is make sure that round is seen over for Colombia. A very simplistic call in the sense, but executed perfectly. Rush B, go through the Molotovs. Let's take fights. Let's back ourselves in a numbers game. And we do. Yeah, nicely done. Nicely done indeed. We're going to go for it again. If it doesn't fail once, why should it fail the second time when we've got better guns? However, Demi hasn't been cleared. Hello. Okay, thankfully he does in the end. And actually, all the pressure that was there is immediately put to bed. Super simple round. If you get time to get the bomb down before the round was over. Nicely done.
Okay, here we go. This is where Honduras have got to show us that they are capable of keeping this map alive. Their favorite ancient coming up next. I think it would also do them some good to close this gap and keep everything competitive, keep themselves convinced that they can finally take a map in this qualifier. Colombia, though, on the flip side, of course, in a perfect position to shut down those hopes. They start this one off a bit slowly.
Tap him. The FAMAS get close on the first, but doesn't find it in the end. I mean, points falling early. Honduras, this first gun round, feels like already has a little bit of legs behind it.
Demi on the headshot angle here. Nearly gets taken down. That's got to have been close. Has to drop back. Bit of short control, but not much else for Colombia. They're not really grouped up here. So it feels like there's not really a lot that they can do. Trying to just get individuals working. Dink lands onto Spamsy, lucky to be alive. Where are we going here? You know, I think maybe it was a slow, old A split on the cards, but just nothing being revealed for Colombia.
Bit of Utah being traded over. That's a mid to B smoke being set up here. But they're already out of doors. They've contacted out. And it worked well for them. Slayer first. Oh, second as well. The Fool had Utah in hand. Gonna catch him off guard. That's tough. That's very tough. Oh my, hang on a second. Ryan just caught the second as well. Spamsy was low. I didn't even realize that. He taps away to try and get the third, but he can't. Now a doable 2v2 here.
Yeah, absolutely. Snake tries to take matters into his own hands. The MAC-10 trying to do the same. Not going to happen. And just like that, it falls completely flat. Honduras will find the round in the end then, despite a few heroics. But still, getting some good damage, getting the bomb plant is a nice end for Colombia. Still got a hefty lead to work with here. Thanks to the bomb plant, super easy buy into the next. You know, there might have been a couple players that were contemplating, that were maybe going to have a lesser buy, but now should be pretty good.
Sure. Round. Also, as well, in that 2 versus 2, as that bomb goes down, one thing I didn't like is that decision there by Snake to try and fight. I don't think that's the way to go about it. Should have been on site and basically playing time. That clock is the big thing that you can utilize in your favor. And he didn't. Yeah, tough, to say the least. Bit of a fight out. 1 for 1. When he gets the first Slayer, will get dropped. Pop flash over from Demi. Doesn't spot anyone. The second flash over is decent. And Spamsy gonna get both. And tagging his teammate as well, just for good luck.
Well, Honduras, it may well be short-lived for them here. Obviously not going to happen for Rans. He's just hoping to hold on to the M4. Even that not going to make the biggest difference. As the money had no chance to build up for Honduras. They're on him. They are after him. I think this little moment is going to reveal where he is, even if he finds the kill. But Cope clears it beautifully. So, Colombia right back in with an answer.
10-6. 4 rounds ahead now. And 3 rounds away. Colombia on their map pick, looking pretty good now they're coming towards this T side. Honduras started on the T side, their choice, and unfortunately for them, it didn't give enough, I guess, in terms of the foundations heading in towards the second half, because now they are in quite a bit of trouble. Colombia should get 11th here. Tough spot. Tough spot that we're in. Oh, aggro. In all fairness, we'll get a nice kill there. The Eagle finds a nice shot and an AK picked up.
Okay, could be workable here. Spamsy, however, at range, spotting a couple of them out, takes a dink. So it doesn't want to stick around for too long. Bomb's gone down. The nade's gone down. So looking good for Colombia. They will hold the line at short. Not going to lose anyone else in the end. Slightly stressful in the middle, but that's about all they have got. Nothing really to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Close now, Colombia. 2 rounds away. Ancients coming up next, of course. It is the pick of Honduras, but they'd like to make at least a bit of a competition in towards Dust 2, especially towards the second half if they want confidence to build up. But so far, it's a bit of a shooting gallery for Colombia, and one in which they are winning out time and time again. That was a low buy, so we can't read too highly into it, but this feels like for all the marbles. Molotov comes down. Coke going to take a fairly decent chunk of damage. The decision to cross here, however, is a questionable one. Slayer gets one elsewhere, but this could mean a finish towards B. That's a nice find from Slayer, who gets his second, and that is the B side taken.
Yeah, looking good. We'll see now what Honduras choose to do, whether they want to try and stick around here or indeed give it a go. It looks like they probably will grab the save. I don't see the energy coming out from them to contest. It's unfortunate, but that is potentially your only option. But maybe if frags come their way, they might be able to give it a bit of something. Unfortunately, you know, the fights do, but the kills don't. And now not looking good at all, is it, right? $3,000, the average across the board. Not expecting too much from this.
Yeah, exactly. Honduras has been tough, man. They really have struggled in the second half. The first half really wasn't too bad. It was workable, feasible, all the rest. But they've just fallen a little flat here when it's mattered most. And unfortunately, we're looking at this now saying, I don't know if they've got enough in the locker, especially not with this buy either. 5 MP9s. It's a tough one to try and make work. Short's not a bad place to go for them, in all fairness. First, maybe the second. Snake takes damage. The lucky man stay alive.
Just happy for the fights here, it looks like, though, and it is kind of going to work for them, leaving everything open. Super confident moves from Colombia as they've moved on to this T side, and that will indeed be that. The kills come in at the same moment, it would appear, and Colombia find themselves looking down the barrel of their first victory. A super one-sided map coming in. Actually, to be fair, their first map that they've picked up, but all the same, looking really, really clean here, as they will feel pretty confident moving into the Ancient, I would imagine.
Yeah, and from what we saw as well in that small showing on Dust 2 against the United States, that is exactly what we were kind of expecting. We know that Colombia has something up their sleeve. We know they can play good Counter-Strike, and that is exactly what came to fruition. It looks like a good Dust 2. I mean, they really do have a couple of protocols up their sleeve. The individuals are quite crisp. The T side was quite fluid as well, which is always really good to see. And I think now it has set themselves up in quite a nice way heading in towards that second map. I mean, obviously it is the pick of Honduras, but I just feel like it's quite a confident Colombian side who are more than happy to take fights and are getting pretty good amount of success when it comes down to them. We'll see, but I think Honduras are really going to take this, you know, sort of 10-minute break that we have in between maps quite seriously, because we said this doesn't ultimately make any sort of difference. None of these guys are going towards the playoffs tomorrow, but, you know, bragging rights still something.
It is true. It is very, very true. I think, again, Colombia playing like they want that win, trying to get the Counter-Strike under their belt, you know, and understand that this is a little bit for the scene, a little bit for the culture, and hopefully some lessons they can take back to the rest of the Colombian scene. And then we're interested to see what happens, you know, over the next few months and into next year and the like. So really good luck for them. We've got the scoreboard here as well as the individuals pretty much across were kind of fantastic. Again, on the other side of things, there's no one to really point at, honestly. Just Honduras not able to turn their openers, turn their CT side in particular into anything substantial.
Yes, exactly. I mean, no one really was lights out, was there? No one finished positive towards Honduras. A couple getting into double digits, but that's it. Being that silver lining is actually in itself quite a damning statement. Whereas everybody had their moments over towards Colombia in some way. Slayer in particular, 20-10 for him was pretty damn good. And I think Snake as well had a real couple of key moments, 16 and 9, where he looked quite tough to kill. A couple of times where he's surviving like 1 or at least less than 10 points of HP. He's 1 hit and he somehow still was able to keep alive in the rest. Really good work out for Colombia. Looked very good. And I think this is a showing which can be brought in towards Ancient coming up next, right? I think that is a good one from them where they at least can say, right, we were confident. Everybody was hitting our shots. And I think there's at least enough to work with where they shouldn't feel too much worry, even though maybe Ancient's on the map on which they've played so far this qual. At least they'll have that thought process of if we just take fights here, we should be fine.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's an awful lot in there to kind of go over, and maybe Colombia could take this in clean fashion. But Honduras, this is the same sort of story, I think, for the Ancient, where it's the map that they've pulled out a couple times. It is the map that they brought a bit closer against Panama. It's difficult to say. Again, we had this in the first series where it's like, okay, well, Team A is not giving us a lot to work with, so Team B is probably going to get the 2-0. And then the script gets flipped into that second map, right? So it may well happen here again. We are hedging our bets ever so slightly. But folks, we have to take a break, of course, before getting into the Ancient. Stick with us. We'll see you soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back through. Looking down the barrel of the second map now, a pretty one-sided second half coming out from Colombia. Honduras did give us a bit to work with in the first. We were like, okay, this is kind of coming a bit close. And then, of course, one of these textbook drop-offs, a lot of teams really struggling on the CT side of things in particular. Something that we usually talk about as being a side where, you just sort of put up the wall, play around your spots, but it does go to show that those basic kind of setups, very, very important. Having the site leaders, having the clear line of rotation, communication and whatnot is not as easy as it looks. So we'll see now. We've got Ancient coming up. It's Honduras' map pick. This is where we expect them to maybe step the game up ever so slightly. Yeah, and we need to. I think, that second half was lackluster, to say the least. I just think Colombia were just rolling through with it. They weren't really doing anything too audacious, anything too special. They were just letting things flow out. And I think they got into a bit of a flow state as well, which ended up working quite nicely for them. Quite simply put, right? They looked clean. Taking fights quite early in towards rounds and getting a lot of space given over towards them. Honduras looked a little tentative, I want to say, in some of these engagements too. And if you are nervous or you hesitate, but if you're half a second, you are going to get punished. We know that Colombia have that about them. We saw that they actually made a bit of a conversation against the United States when it came towards that Dust 2. And it might be something which they can bring in towards Ancient as well. We know it's a map which is pretty popular to pug on, right? It's very aggro. T-sides can get pretty proactive early doors, something which we saw that they absolutely love doing there for Colombia. So maybe it could be more of the same as well. I think Honduras have got to have something up their sleeves. They have played this map already in the qualifier. It was, their best performing map in a loose term. They got a 13-8 loss, right? But you got 8 rounds against Panama. But aside from that, it's not really looked incredible. We saw them against the United States. Only getting 2 rounds. We can't really build too much off that. No, it is very true. We are straight into the action here, though, now. As Honduras get the CT kickoff, interestingly enough. Colombia opting to go for the T side. They prefer taking the fights. They prefer bringing the game. And Spamsy will take the first head here. There's a lurk out from Snake. And a 5v3 straight out of the gate. Bomb takes a little bit of time to go down here, but I think they are looking confident. Just taking those heads-up fights. Speaks to this T-side start. So far, so good. Just got to be careful you don't bite off too much. But they make it happen. Pistol goes their way. And again, no real sweat off the brow. This could be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. Colombia, that was quick, wasn't it? Right, in towards fight as soon as knowing that they backed themselves in terms of that individual game. We saw this on Dust 2 on that T side. They were more than happy to take that. And one of those now where it's set themselves up in quite a nice way. You know, they're coming towards the next round. No buyout from Honduras means they should get a 2-0 start without having to break too much of a sweat. And at that point, we're talking about just continuing to get into a bit of that flow state as they did on Dust 2. First, fourth Ramsey, good. Looking for more. Does take a double dink, in all fairness. They should expect another. They will, but Faith gets away with even more damage. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it's going to amount to anything. Just a couple of consolation kills.
Point. Ready to go. Clean finish in the end. So, yeah. A few kills. Kill bonus for those players is always going to help the case moving forward. You can see Faith 4,900 now. So, pretty comfortable buy to come in. No kit going to be bought up. Maybe Tin with one. It'd be good to see a kit somewhere across the board here, but looks not to be the case. Rands could also pull one out. Again, Honduras, couple of little signs here that they don't quite have those protocols in place, opting to keep the money instead, which feels kind of strange. We'll see. Can they make it work? Early utility out from Colombia, not wasting any time getting the mid control, and maybe not wasting any time looking for more fights.
Coach, nice find. Really nice find. First gun round for Honduras, and you'd hope for a bit of something here, but the first fight is good. Then Coat with that bomb does get dropped. And Faith hasn't been traded, not yet, but Slayer gets one and the second. They know the last guy is well. They know he's in towards Temple, and he should be dead sooner rather than later. And that is the case. 3-0, and honestly, really comfortably too.
Okay. I mean, this could be signs of things to come. Honduras not really able to hit the level at this point. Very, very quickly getting out of hand. Only a few rounds in, but Colombia, the way that they're approaching it, they're like, yo, get a two-sided start. Let's just run at them and take the frags, take the fights. So it is a bit worrisome if they can continue making that work. Probably will be the case into this one, as Honduras are on the lower buy. Go out towards mid, gets that first. It is a B stack, so just got to keep your eye on that.
Okay. Oh, he's going for his teammate. Does a bit of damage, but I'm still going to get a double out of this. And he will get spammed. Didn't make a difference. I thought maybe if he picks up a gun, he could have had a look in there to something, but wasn't the case in the end. 4-2-0. Honduras back in towards their second attempt at a bye, but again, do we have the highest expectations? Who knows? We haven't seen a hell of a lot from Honduras on the CT side. It is a bit of a clear weakness for them. Colombia, so far, just rolling through. Nothing has made them feel uncomfortable. Not for a while, anyway.
I think we might have had a player drop out by the looks of things, though, so that could have an effect here. Although, maybe not. 2 for 1 in towards middle. The exchange is looking good. Pummeling the aggression, though. So Colombia left down to just 2 in an awkward kind of game state here. We'll see. It's a pretty good look at the moment for Slayer in particular, having a good game. He's going to have to do it all by himself, however. His position now known and cannot get that trade frag. Devul will finish it off with the 2-piece. Honduras get on the boards. Maybe slightly lucky. Seems like players back in, so not too much to worry about, but certainly has a bit of an effect in the previous.
True. Definitely have liked to have all 5 there, but Honduras will get there first. That's something to work with at the very least. Now we get to see as well, maybe if they can use that as a catalyst. Can they spiral a little bit? Mid control taken. Demi gonna find the first as point gets caught. So already Honduras win that previous round. They started well in towards their chance to go back to back.
A contact here. The AWP trained up. Ready and patiently finds that kill. Bites off a bit too much, but maybe he's done enough here. The info coming in. Wild swings out. Still a player in at default to deal with. Doesn't get traded. Felt like that was a very open position for him. Molotov Going to do enough to find the frag. 2-on-2 now. Bomb in the hands of the T side. Slayer looking to find the kill, no, not wanting to rush this plant. And actually, the temple position's not bad. They could hop up here and make their way out. The Vul through the smoke, of course. Not a brick wall. Coat not giving it any regard. Leaves Slayer with it all to do.
Tough. For Slayer. Doesn't really have too much information to work with. Takes a fight. Knows where one is. Now looking for that second. He's over towards temple. Little does he know. 30 seconds. Bomb on his back. Setting the ruse that he was rotating away, and he's not. Might have actually just spotted the shoulder. Yeah, the donut player. He's waiting for the fight, but time is really of the essence for him. They're just not giving him this. Honduras are playing this so disciplined. This is the exact right way to go about it. Do not give him the chance to fight. Tap on towards the bomb. 8 seconds. There's the first, but he can't even get the kill. Honduras have actually played that perfectly. In that 2 versus 1, they know they got the numbers in their favor, and they know that the onus is on him to get that bomb down, and they just do not give him the luxury of that. Starts well, seen off well, and that's where Honduras start chaining something together. That's a really good round to take, and probably the first round that we see of the CT side, not even just in this map, but probably in this series of Honduras, which is played from the jump really well.
Yeah, let's see. Colombia will manage to cobble together a buy here. Deep into the coffers for this, but we'll see. It is workable. Quick move coming in. Nade and a MAC-10. He thought it was a flash. He turned away, much to his demise. Still a player in there to try and hold down the line. Rans may well have done enough. An advantage netted through the mid-kill. Smoke comes in, going to leave life a little awkward, but the bomb going down. There's actually nobody on B with the kill coming in. Kind of missed that a little bit. Spamsy gets a frag and gets the bomb down as well. So 2-on-2 all of a sudden. What is the play here? Tin on the edge of the smoke, making a lot of noise for that one, but maybe enough of a draw. Going to be down to Spamsy to do it all. Bomb not planted for him, but he's looking to just play the long game anyway. Tap onto the bomb from Faith is to be expected, and Spamsy playing it to perfection. No kit available here. Faith going to try and go in for the hold. Surely not twice in a row, right?
Oh.
Hardly any time. Just got to get the kill. It's a little close, but Spamsy was committed to finding it. Colombia steal it away. It started off well for Honduras, but does not finish in their favor.
Oh my god, that would have been rough, and it nearly was very, very rough, but Colombia see it all over in their favor in the end. I mean, it got close. Got very, very close. Tough spot. Honduras now put themselves back in as well. Oh, bit of a knife. Coat gets tagged up by his teammate. It's bad buys both ways as well. And we got triple MP9, double upgraded pistol for Honduras, but then we got triple MAC-10. However, it's not supported by pistols. It's got AKs. Slightly better towards Colombia, but it's still a very weird buy nonetheless. Coat flies in for the first, catches Tin.
Runs. Oh, does get caught. I thought maybe he'd be able to have the gun up for that one. Not going to be the case. Bomb's gone down 4v2 after an initial even start. They're on the hunt now for these remaining weapons, and they will indeed continue the frags. Just Demi. In kind of a weird spot. Could thread the needle in behind. Could get a catch. If he plays his cards right. Still someone watching the bomb. So he's going to try and desperately go for this one. Definitely been heard now, and they will, you know, draw in, but it's a nice idea. Maybe could have resulted in a frag. Not here, however. Colombia moving up to 6, starting to look dominant now.
Yeah, sounds like really good. Colombia are rolling with the punches. I don't think they're doing a hell of a lot here that is being. I mean, at the very least, there's nothing really on the cards from Honduras so far, which feels like it could lead to success later down the line. Things have got to change sooner rather than later. This is a tough spot, that's for sure. Of course, that was a little bit of a lesser buy, so I guess we can take it with a pinch of salt. Wait for the first, looking for the second, does get traded. And it'll come down on point, gonna get both. Going through that smoke again in the second never should happen. He might even be in, or potentially a little bit more as well. Coat will jump up. 3 versus 3. They know of one in towards Cave, but Snake going to find a big kill. He's in behind them as well.
Yeah. This is going crazy right now. Could get dropped here. Not going to be the case, but a wild kind of game. Colombia, I think, maybe just having a bit of a conversation with themselves. It's like, all right, we've already got the one map. We feel like we're the better side. They really did capitulate onto their CTN. Couldn't deal with us. Couldn't deal with our just individuality. And it seems that's kind of what they're going for. It's a little bit of a free day at the moment, maybe until it stops working. But a lot of flying out, trying to get in behind, being cheeky. Really, really aggressive stuff.
Point. Looking for the exit. Is an AWP as well, so arguably worth the hunt here, despite economy maybe being a little on that looser side. You know, it's still not exactly fully built up over towards Colombia, but I think it's pretty worthwhile going for the hunt. And they will get it. No AWP saved for Demi to make matters worse. Not even going to pick up the AWP in all fairness. Going to keep with the rifles. Got plenty of money, but on the other side too, I feel like the way Colombia are playing, and especially their play style, I guess, at the very least that we've seen so far, is quite quick, where maybe an AWP isn't as much of a priority as it would be towards some other teams. Tough spot, though, that we're in. Honduras, 5 rounds behind on their map pick off the back of a pretty lackluster Dust 2, and not showing us a hell of a lot just yet. In towards their own pick on the CT side, no less. They have called for that pause, and they've tried to do something, but yeah, unfortunately, not a lot is on offer.
No, it's true. It is very, very true. All right, we'll see here, man. Low buy. Can they make something of it? Take some guns away. Just try and keep Colombia a little bit down, so that when they pick up the rifle round and next, that's what they're looking at, where they can be low, or maybe they can. Oh, well, ready. 2 quick and easy kills. Nothing gained for Colombia. They'll try and give it a bit of a look towards mid, but not going to be that easy. The business end of the MP9 leaves just 2 remaining.
Oh, Slayer. Nice find from him. The Vul will fall, but still a tough 2v4 situation. A round in which never really had any business of being this close, or even the potential of Honduras now absolutely has some legs behind it. Slayer setting up for the spam. Not exactly going quiet about his position. However, he is a bit of a bait here. The bomb's towards Donut, and A-side's open.
Trying to spam away, doesn't happen. But yeah, the A-bomb site, it feels maybe too good to be true that it's open. Snake is on a hardcore track here. Slayer just has to stay alive. 35 seconds, plenty of time, even if it is a slow rotate in. He takes the fight, though, and will drop. So Snake now has a weird decision to make. He's still going to look for B. I don't know, dog. You got 3 to get through. 20 seconds to do it. Not considering him at all until the very final second. He might come away with a double here. He's not ready for the third. And down he will go. Honduras, big win for them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, like I said, no business winning that. They most definitely shouldn't be walking away with that round, but Colombia play it maybe a little bit too simple. The fights do not go in their way as they're caught in 2 big different fights. You know, over towards ramp, MP9s play off the back of each other, and then the red room one, he's on the run. A little bit of fortune. Honduras do get a third at the very least, heading into the penultimate round of the half, and it has had a bit of a hindrance over towards the economy of Colombia at the very least, with a Mac-10 and Snake shot. Yeah, I'm going to say nothing. He does go back and reinvest in towards an AK. Oh, and a good find for Coat to find that first. Faith in the open. Not sure about that position.
Indeed. Big catch off. Tin. In a good spot. Does drop the bomb there with that one. And Demi finding his kill means that we are actually back on for Honduras. It feels like. Just have to hold this. Just have to hold this. Weird little exchange over here in the cave. Oh, Devul turns around for the spam. Goodness me. Another all over the place kind of round. Demi creeps out and drops the bomb again, leaving Slayer in this 1 versus 3, although make it a 1 versus 2 very, very quickly. We'll see. Can he get this going? 50 seconds. Bomb recovered in just a second here. If they give it to him, I suppose.
Rands. Hold it for this rotation too. Comes through CT. That's covered. Donut should be covered as well. And it will. At range. Demi sees it off. Honduras back-to-back round is really good for them. That will absolutely keep them afloat and give them a pretty decent chance at getting in towards a 5th to see off this half, considering the bye is not going to be great for Colombia. A really decent chance of this as well. Got an AK-47. And, I mean, actually maybe a drop could come through from Co. It's 2.5k. If he sells a bit of util, he could actually drop another one over. And it looks like he will. Or at least maybe even for him. Yeah, there we go. So he sells up that util, and he can actually invest back in towards an AK. So that is ultimately not the worst thing in the world. It's just Slayer who really takes a hit here with a Deagle. But they've at least made something out of this in terms of the buy. But Honduras, a couple of rounds in a row from them, which have been pretty good. It has forced attack pause, at the very least, out from Colombia. That in itself is a small victory. They know they're starting to win a little bit of that mental game.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's good to see from Colombia, though. These attack pauses, we've been talking about them all weekend long. And it's good to see them indeed putting them to use. Now, I'm not sure that's where that smoke is supposed to go. Either way, they were going to go through it, weren't they? Mid-aggression for Honduras. Doesn't net anything. It's an A take. At least an attempt at one. 3 in towards Donut. Could definitely deny the bomb if they play their cards right here. Down goes 1. Down goes 2. As well as that bomb. Big gaps being found by just so much spam. It will eventually get it in. Devul watching behind. Ooh, quite keenly, but Coke does get the double spray down. A little on top of each other there, guys. Faith will trade things out. Surely going to be all good then. 1 versus 3. Spammy trained up. Bomb ticked down a little bit, but he's in behind the big box. It should be an easy trade, you would think. We'll see what he can find. Playing it well here, but indeed dealt with. And Honduras recover things back. It was looking dire at one point. 7-5 is not a bad finish.
It's true. It's true. I think they've actually made a half out of that, which felt, at least, a few rounds ago, that was never going to be the case. It looked like Colombia were going to run away with things, but 3 in a row at the tail end from Honduras, they've made an opportunity open up. And I think at the very least, that's something that we can take away from this. You get a pistol, probably get the force bar off the back of it. That's a 7-all game. Game is on at that point. However, Colombia found the pistol. They probably go up towards, 9-4? And then that 5-round buffer is pretty substantial. So this pistol round is of the utmost importance. We look at it with a lot of pressure on Honduras. So they can't find this one. They're going to be in trouble. However, in towards map number 1, their T side is where they did their best work, because their C side was a little quiet. This might be a chance for them.
Maybe. We'll see. Tin with the first frag coming round. Coat, meanwhile, to hold the line, and he's doing a good job of it. The fadeaway is huge. That's surely got to do it. It's just going to be down to Rands in A main. Spotted out. Long fight there for him, and it will mean the trade comes easy. Colombia picking up the pistol, so a good sign for them. Even denying away the bomb plant is a really nice look.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, Colombia once again extend that lead and make sure they do it quite cleanly as well. The first fight was a little weird, but after that, slot itself in towards its plate, and of course, because there isn't that bomb plant to come through, all the kills. Now, we look at this, it's a 3-round buffer, probably going to be made 4 as well. That should be Colombia getting up towards that 9th, and yikes, this is tough.
It is indeed. Just the pistols holding out, maybe for a ramp push to come their way. Not going to be the case. There's a lot of B presence, to be fair, and a keen find from Tin. Traded quickly here. The FAMAS at range doing a good job of just, keeping them distracted. Let everybody else move down and get a bit close here. Still 2 kills. I think they'll take that with, no investment. Nearly a third. Bailed out there as Slayer was a bit lackadaisical, a bit overconfident, and a bit Unsure. Either way. Going to be that 9th round coming in now, looking down the barrel of the 2-0 here, Colombia, if they can take this rifle.
Yeah, this does really feel like it's for all the marbles, I think, for Honduras. You lose this and, oh, man, we're in a tough spot for sure. You lose this, Colombia get probably up towards 11. I mean, at that point, it's just too much pressure on the shoulders, similar to what we saw in towards Dust 2. All right. Real awkward spot they're in. Nade. Oh, I point at throwing that a little earlier. Could have done even more damage, but still does a decent chunk on towards Demi in a little bit. The full good push. Proactivity through main. Spamsy's going to get one and realize nobody else here that he can see.
Nice pick up from Coat, though. Donut push not considered for at all. Rand's not in position to trade things out, but his slow roll will result in a frag. Just about makes it away. Ready for the B hit, but unfortunately not having any numbers here will be a deficit. They line up slightly, and Slayers goes in, digs for a bit more. Big find from him, down to just Rands. He's solo, easily spammed, and Colombia may well have just begun the end here for Honduras.
Yeah, I mean, 10-5 now. Really uncomfortable spot that we are in. Honduras maybe in towards the next gun round, attack pause to converse about how we're going to find a gap in the Colombian defense, but right now it doesn't seem to be the case. We are going to go for a pause here, though, but the only issue is, you know, Honduras go for attack pause, and they're going to have, you know, a conversation or whatever, but you know, it's a round in which they can't really make too much of a difference with. I normally do prefer when teams call pauses before they go into a gun round, so their plan stays with them heading in towards that. We'll see. Maybe they might have something on the cards for this one. Let's take a look and see. Oh, unfortunately, that attack pause has turned now technical.
Never ideal. Honduras maybe needing a little bit more time. We have had a couple players actually drop out in this series, so, you know, might be something down to that, but looking to kind of just get back into the action quickly. It's kind of an ice out, maybe indeed a technical pause here, but something that they potentially are not going to turn their nose up at. So we'll see if they can turn it into something, a little bit of a half buy coming through from Honduras here. And judging by that, you would assume that they should get back into things, but we'll see.
All right. Well, still, unfortunately, in this tech pause, but people have bought over towards Honduras, so makes me think maybe on the side of Colombia, potentially. I mean, everybody was buying and sort of moving around a little bit on the Honduras side of things. I can hear a little bit of typing. So hopefully a problem that can get fixed relatively quickly. And it is. There we go.
There we are.
Tech pause,
lovely stuff.
or tech pause done. Tech pause also concluded that happened just prior to that. And we go back underway. A little bit of a buy coming through for Honduras, but Colombia inching ever closer to the 2-0 in this one. Bit by bit. Closer and closer. And it should be an 11th here. I mean, there's a small investment, but it's not the best in the world.
Spamsy trying to get away here. Just, draw it back. Stay safe. Coat has them baited in, and he will see it off pretty much straight away, it feels like. 4 versus 2. Demi and Faith left to try and do something with this round. You know, anything with this round, ultimately. The B-bomb site is a little open right now, I will say, but I think they should have a good read on the timing.
All right. Demi. Go back over towards doors. Might get caught here. Snake spots the shadow. That's an easy fight for him. Does take a tag, in all fairness, and a pretty hefty one at that. Nice little pre-fire from Demi. Better gun, and he might have got the kill, but fortunately only the dink. Faith all alone. 1v4. I don't think this one's getting off the ground here. Has the bomb at the very least, but tough to really expect anything. Snake playing anti, and he will get the timing perfectly. Colombia find the 11th with only the one casualty. 2 rounds away now, and what feels like the last hurrah for Honduras. Buy to come through in this next round, which if they cannot convert, it's safe to call that this one is going to be over and done with. And Colombia have just looked at the better side throughout this series. They've never really pulled their punches. They've always looked quite clean with minimal mistakes, and it's showcasing here. Oh, well. 11-5. Honduras. Let's see. Is there anything left in the tank?
Indeed, the big question, of course. Colombia looking to lay down the law in at middle. Point does just that. Faith up high. Will turn it into 2. But is that going to be enough? Only 2 of them now remain. There's the big one. However, Snake with the overstep gives his life away. Gives them a chance into things. I like Slayer's position, though, as he comes in from behind. They will try and give the B-bomb site a good go here, and plant certainly going to be possible, but in comes Slayer. He might even deny it. Spray down does damage through the wall. Doesn't find the frag, but pretty much seals it in. 12-5. Honduras, closest they've come in a good while. Can't make it work, though.
Tough. Really, really tough. This spot that we're in, we just, every single time it feels like there's maybe an opportunity to work with for Honduras. I mean, a bomb plant that comes through, which is okay, but there's just no solidity in terms of that post plant. At least with that bomb plant, though, it does give them a little bit more funds because they got max loss bonus. They can actually buy in towards this next, but I don't think it's going to make a massive difference. 12-5. Colombia 1 round away from taking the 2-0 here in this series. You know, unfortunately, it's a series that doesn't make too big of a difference, as Colombia did end up forfeiting against Panama. Maybe if they hadn't, who knows? Maybe we could have seen them moving forward to that next stage. But it's all in hindsight. Outrange. Spamsy with the AUG. Making that scope put to good use. Ran's going to get 2, however. That's not bad. Bomb is spotted, however.
Yeah, it might make a difference. I'm going to rotate across. Ooh, the nade. Close. He was, you know, a few feet back. Thankfully for his life. Slayer. Oh, gets the flash. It's lovely. That's surely got to lock it in now. Just Faith to clutch things up. Has been looking good in this second half. There's a testament to it. No HP on the other side of ramp here. Smoke goes down. Still not really sure of how to get this bomb back, but a good catch on the timing. Slayer could not quite trade it up. And so the control comes back in the hands of Faith. Faking out the runaway might be the little tidbit, the little nuance that is needed. Slayer starting to guess himself now. Smoke goes down, but the HP makes the difference. 19 is what Faith survives with, and Honduras will continue breathing.
Yeah, a little bit of mind games there played at the end, but nicely done. You know, what was in the end, a 1v2, and played quite well for Honduras to keep them afloat. And that on the other side, too, will have a bit of an effect over and the buy for Colombia. At least I see a Mag 7 picked up by Snake. Not often a gun utilized. Not an ancient anyway, so maybe expecting him to play Cave, potentially? Well, Honduras kept the float, at least for a little bit. Is it going to be enough for them to be able to turn this back on its head? Who knows? The first fight's not good. Slayer will get it. The flash actually hits Demi rather than going past him. Hence why it doesn't blind out. The guy in towards Cave. Pushing through the smoke. Runs. I don't know what we're doing there.
They going in. Trying to finish one off. Not going to happen. Meanwhile, in towards middle. Trace is going to be followed here. And indeed, that's a dangerous game to be playing. Colombia in the winning position now. Out towards A. Bit of a fight going down. Coke going to win it. It's all on to Tin. Can't get anything done. Colombia take it. 13-6, 2-0. A repeat of that first map. They will pick up a victory here in the qualifier, although not going to give them the contention for qualification to the playoffs. I think it is nice for them to prove to themselves they can indeed get it done. A clean game out on Dust 2 in particular. I think that one felt a bit messier, just sort of players all over the place. Colombia, stronger individuals, but Dust 2 had some pretty nice moments in there.
Yeah, exactly. Really, really nicely done. It has to be said. And I think having a a solid couple of maps of that does also leave us questioning if they hadn't have forfeited against Panama, what would have actually happened in that series. Could Colombia have made it through to the next stage? Who knows, right? I mean, in the end, it's one of those that we can just ponder about it and speculate, but I do think Colombia played some good Counter-Strike there. They looked quite clean, whereas Panama also looked very clean. They had a 13-3 and a 13-8 against Honduras. So both had pretty dominant 2-0s. Who knows? I think that would have been quite a close game, though, between Colombia and Panama. So it could have been quite an interesting one. Nonetheless, doesn't matter in the end of the day. That series doesn't matter. It's just for bragging rights. Both of them won't be making it through to the next stage, as both that are United States and Panama are guaranteed into those playoffs. United States finishing first in Group A, Panama finishing second, who will be taking on Canada, of course, who finished top over towards Group B. And now we just wait to see who will be joining the US from Group B after this. This is going to be Costa Rica, Guatemala. It's going to be our final game of the day, a little bit later on. But before we get there, scoreboard at the tail end. Sly with 20 kills to him. Not bad. Coat on 19 as well. Had a lot of impact coming all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The CT A-hole looked really good from him, right? I think there was a lot of rounds in there from Honduras where they had maybe worked it, got a first kill, looking to burst out, something along those lines, and Coke was always there to at least lay down one by time for the rotations, if not a multi-frag moment for him. So really great game coming out. I like what we've seen from Colombia. I think there's something in there. It feels like individually they've got some good players. Just again, the team play element wasn't really there in their earlier games. And we sort of saw that a bit, although it worked for them, just sort of charging in on the T side, taking fights. It does make sense that Dust 2 is kind of a favorite of them, right? Because that's a map that can very much function like that, particularly at a high level pug kind of game. So again, they maybe need to walk away and work on that, but I think it'd be nice to see some of these names again into the next round for IESF.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, going towards qualifiers next year, I think there are regions that at least have brought a couple of names to our attention, right? So some guys who really kind of step up in a way which maybe next year they can build upon that and we can see them make a deeper run in the qualifier. Who knows? But in the end, it wasn't to be, and we get to see a pretty good 2-0 out of Colombia. Good for them. It still, kind of saddens me a bit that we didn't get that game against Panama, because I think it would have been interesting to see who actually would have won. I feel like that's actually quite a close matchup between those two, at least in terms of if you compare the box sort of score lines of both of them against Honduras. That's the only real kind of consistent factor. Sure. But hey, what can you do? You pick up a forfeit. It is just going to be a nice and easy win. So Colombia, unfortunately, couldn't do all too much with that. We do have another best of 3. However, there's a relatively sizable break. It's just shy of 75 minutes until our next series. So we're going to throw this one to a pretty extended break. But if you're sticking here for the Counter-Strike, now's a good time to go and get a snack, something to eat, all of the rest. Then we'll see you in about 70 minutes or so.